Sometimes life don't break you, it introduces you to the version of yourself God always knew was there. Yeah. Dreams felt bigger than the world I know. Had a pocket full of faith and a heart full of scars. Still thanking God while wishing on stars. Mama said, baby, keep your head held high, even when you're learning how to say goodbye. People see the smile, never see the tears. Never count the prayers, never count the years. I learned pain can build a palace if your spirit keeps its balance. Lost some people, lost some sleep. Found the version of me the hurt couldn't keep. Yeah, keep going. Don't stop. God got me. I hear you. Every closed door made another hallway. Every broken heart made another story. Every setback was preparing glory. I wasn't buried, I was planted. Let's go. I'm gonna find my happy again. Even if I gotta cry before I grin. They couldn't steal what heaven put within. I keep rising again, 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 find your peace, find your light, keep believing, you'll be alright. Find your peace, find your light, keep believing, you'll be alright. Find your peace, find your light, keep believing, you'll be alright. Find your peace. Yeah. Sometimes healing don't look pretty. Sometimes grace gets real gritty. Sometimes faith sounds like silence. Choosing love over violence. Every mountain made me stronger. Every season lasted longer. But somehow I kept breathing, even when I stopped believing. See, the mirror started changing, not because my face was different. My soul finally caught up with what God already envisioned. You don't need permission to become who you were born to be. That's freedom. Talk to him. That's right. Stand up. No fear. Keep walking. Who told you you were broken? Convinced you your story was over. Who said your value depended on somebody else's opinion? No. You still chosen. You're still worthy. You're still breathing. That means tears and bending hands up. Lift your head. Hope ain't dead. Hope ain't dead. Hope ain't dead. Love yourself. Heal yourself. Trust yourself. I wear my scars like medals now. No matter, I ain't no more settling now. Every chapter built another queen. Every valley made my vision clean. I'm not running from yesterday. I'm thanking it without those storms. I never know how strong the roots could get. And I'm planting seeds instead of pain. Teaching hearts how to love again. Maybe that's what purpose is. Turning your survival into somebody else's hope. I'm gonna find my happy again. No more living for somebody else's lens. Every sunrise is another chance to begin. I'm still standing, still believing, still healing, still dreaming, still grateful, still growing again, again. Your beginning doesn't decide your ending. Your pain doesn't erase your purpose. Your losses don't cancel your future. If you're still here, there's still joy waiting for you. Find your happy again. before the crown and for the praise, before they learn to speak our names. There was a woman standing strong, holding hope and moving on. They tried to tell her what she couldn't be, but she looked inside and chose to believe. She wore her beauty like sunlight, her strength like the rain. Smiled through the struggle, danced through the pain. They said, know your place. She said, watch me rise, with the fire in her heart and a dream in her eyes. They judged her skin, they judged her face. They tried to make her feel out of place, but every scar became her art. Every wound strengthened her heart. Still beautiful, still standing. She learned that beauty is more than a face. It's courage and kindness, it's power and grace. It's getting back up when you've fallen apart. It's carrying hope with a tired heart. She walked in gold when the road was cold. She walked in gold with the story to unfold. Black woman, shine bright, let your beautiful spirit ignite. Every woman, every shade, every dream that you have made. Don't hide, don't fold, don't fear growing old. Your heart is your treasure, your soul is your gold. She walked in gold, and so do we. Hey, they told us change your hair, change your face, change your body, change your shape, change your voice. Don't talk too loud, don't stand too tall, don't make them doubt. But why should a woman break herself apart just to make somebody comfortable with her heart? No, we wear the curl, the braids, the looks, the gray, the scars, the curves, the wisdom we earned along the way. Black is beautiful, brown is beautiful, light is beautiful, every shade is beautiful. And beauty ain't a contest, ain't a crown to steal. There's enough light in this world for every woman to feel, because we are not just what the mirror shows. We're the hands that build, the hearts that know. We're the mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the friends, the women who break what the past couldn't mend. She walked in gold through the fire and the cold. She walked in gold with the heart brave and bold. Black woman, rise high, put your crown against the sky. Every woman stand tall, you don't have to shrink at all. Your beauty has meaning, your voice has soul, your story has power. You are the gold. For the woman who cried in the dark and woke up still carrying her heart. For the mother who gave when she had no more. For the grandmother who quietly opened the door. For the girl who wonders if she's enough. Baby, you are, you always were. Your worth was never something they could give, and it was never something they could take. Who are we? Women, what do we? What do we carry? Love, where do we belong? Right here. And what do we do? Come on, come on, come on, come on, sister. Step to the left, step to the right, turn around. Let your joy shine tonight. We fought, we loved, we built, we healed. Now, yes, like freedom is real. We carry the past, but we're not trapped there. We honor the struggle, but we're building with care. For every woman who came before, we open another door. For every little girl looking into the mirror, make tomorrow, make her dreams clearer. May she love her skin, her voice, her name. May she know she doesn't need to change. She walked in gold through the tears, through the years. She walked in gold through the battles, through the fears. Black woman, stand is not up for debate. Your story is not too late. You were born with a goal.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden, and we are back with another video, y'all. And like we said yesterday, we was gonna come back and do the part two to this wonderful interview with NIECY Nash over on Keke Palmer's platform and her podcast over there. But yeah, y'all, what is going on? What is going on? It is about 1:23 p.m. here Eastern Time in the Carolinas, and it is, really nice outside today. It's not too hot. The sun is shining, so y'all know what that means. I'm in a good mood. And it's a lovely day. And I hope you guys are having a lovely day in whatever time zone you're in, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night. But yeah, we wanted to come back, y'all, and chit chat and kick it with y'all and listen to the rest of this interview. We got a few more things we're going to talk about before we get into it. I have my lovely co-host Imani back here with me again today. And we do have a little bit of housekeeping we're gonna do, y'all. But yeah, Imani girl, what's going on? How are you feeling? How's your day? Thank you for coming
I'm
back.
good. It's the sun is still shining. It's cooler here. It's 22 degrees Celsius, which is about 72. So it's much cooler. There's a nice breeze, but the sun is still shining. It's what time is it? Oh, it's nearly 6:30, 6:30 p.m. Here. It's 6:24 p.m. here. And yeah, it's been a lovely day. Um, Apart from that, nothing much to report. I've done a bit of work, I've done a bit of housework, I've done a bit of laundry, and I'm feeling good.
That's good to hear. I'm glad you're having a good day. Yeah, child, that laundry and that housework and stuff. Oof, it has to be done. But Lord,
Yeah.
sometimes I be wanting to be out and about doing something, but we got to get it together. But I'm just putting up some of the comments here. So shout out to everybody here already. I know Mom Star was on time because she's always on time. And child, she's like, you ain't never on time, Golden. I'm gonna try to be on time. But what's up, Mom Star? How you doing? Mama Warrior is resting today, so I don't know if she'll be in the background in the chat or not. She was taking a little cat nap. What's up, Asher? How you doing, Asher? Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate that. And yeah, I was reading a lot what y'all was saying in the chat as we were, getting started or whatnot. Definitely, Josephine Baker Rainbow Tribe. Yep, yep. Everybody is welcome here. Everybody is welcome here. And like I said, it don't matter. It's all of us as people, females, males, no matter what race. Let's kick it. Let's have a good time. But we got to be respectful to one another, and it don't have to end up in a fight and all of the things. So, but yeah, so we do have a little bit of housekeeping we're going to get into because we're going to try to push this right along. Imani, you want to go ahead and kick that off real quick while I continue to read the chat?
Yeah. Before we get into our conversation with Niecy Nash, I want to just say something because I'm going to talk about something that I genuinely find ridiculous. Um, we're living in a time when parents are worried about their children being exposed to violence. In the US, families are dealing with gun violence, and in the UK, families are dealing with knife crime. Young people are losing their lives, and communities are having various serious conversations about how we protect our children and prevent violence. Yeah, on this platform, and I've heard it a few times, we have grown middle-aged women sitting behind their laptops or their phones talking about having ops. Your op is somebody on the internet. Your weapon is your keyboard. Your battlefield is a comment section. There are real people out there with real ops. There are mothers currently crying because their children are in a cemetery because they had ops. There are mothers who are mourning their lost children because their children are in a jail cell because they had ops. And there are mothers that are thankful that their children didn't end up in either of those places, but they still have ops and they're still fighting through these things. We have children where I used to work in the community centre that cannot go to the store wearing flip flops or sliders. You know why? Because they won't be able to run if they meet one of their ops, and they could end up unalived. So they don't wear casual shoes and they have to, it's a strategic plan to go to a shop. But you guys behind keyboards, what are you going to do? Press the enter button, press Control Alt Delete to make us scared? And don't get me wrong, there's something profoundly absurd about grown adults using the language of street violence to describe internet disagreements when the only thing they're actually holding is a keyboard. And I'm not saying that online harassment isn't serious, because it absolutely can be serious, as we have seen on this platform and other platforms. Threats like stalking, doxing, intimidation, and coordinated harassment can have real consequences, real life consequences. And words and online behavior can hurt people. But let's maintain some perspective. There's a difference between having an online agreement and having an enemy. There's a big difference between being criticized and being attacked physically by an op. And there's certainly a difference between somebody disagreeing with you on YouTube and someone standing in front of you with a bladed article or a pow pow. And there's certainly, and we have real children out here who need adults to teach them that conflict doesn't have to become violence. So when we get grown people who are talking about every disagreement and saying that I have ops, what are we teaching these children? That everybody disagrees with you as your enemy? That every argument requires retaliation? That you have to build a team against somebody because they said something you didn't like? No. At some point, adulthood has to mean learning how to disagree without turning these disagreements into warfare. And honestly, if your biggest weapon is a keyboard, perhaps you shouldn't be trying to convince everybody that you're dangerous, because you're not, because you really aren't. Perhaps your goal should be to demonstrate that you're mature enough not to need to be dangerous. And that really is my housekeeping for today, because I really had to talk about this. after I heard about another person who I know losing a young child to violence on the street. That's what it means when you have ops. When a mother loses her 16-year-old on the street when he is just going to the shop. So let's get some perspective here and let's grow up. And please stop saying you've got ops, that you don't have to walk out of your house and think about what shoes you're going to wear before you go to the store, or plan a time to go to the store in case people you know are around. Grow up. Some of you need to really grow up because it's ridiculous. And that's really all I've got to say for today's, because I was just thinking, ops, please, you don't know anything about having ops. You're sitting in your house. The most you can do is delete your sentence. Anyway, that's it for me for today.
That was a very powerful housekeeping, and none of it is really laughable. Maybe like a smidget of it is, but I won't laugh because it is very serious what you are addressing. And like that's the thing. A lot of times when people are saying certain things on this internet and they get a rebuttal or they get a response, where people are like, you just don't know what people go through. You don't know what people are capable of. You don't know like what people have to fight through and survive through in the actual streets, in the real everyday lives that we live. What we've seen before, what we may see on an everyday basis, is a lot more serious than just being on this YouTube platform, this internet, going back and forth with one another. There are real problems out here in these streets, in this world. There are real sufferings that are happening out here in these streets, in this world. So a lot of the time people look at this YouTube beef and back and forth as like it's monotonous. It's what is the point of it? When I'm dealing with something on a YouTube beef, and yeah, I'll be the first one to pop out and be fussing and stuff. I ain't gonna lie about that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just like this is really lightweight compared to a lot of things that people have to survive through and go through and have survived through and go through. So it's just like it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. We all could be actually, instead of fighting one another, standing together to fight for a greater cause as a team, as a unit, in a positive direction. So a lot of times that's like what we desire to do. That's what we can see it could be. But you have to navigate through the weeds first, to get over to the other side. But, like Mom Star said, it's experiences, personal experiences. And I know Imani was saying, I know I've had some. We all probably have had some. And it's just like things is serious in real life outside of YouTube. Like all of this madness that be happening, it really is taking up a lot of space and time. But on the other side of that, as dark as things can be sometimes, as traumatic as things can be sometimes, when it comes down to it at the core, what I believe a lot of people really desire to have and are looking for is love. And that's why I wanted to go ahead and do my mild housekeeping today. I don't have too much to say and really nothing to say about anybody specifically, but I just want to talk about overall. And it actually ties into some of the conversation that we'll hear here as well from NIECY Nash. So before we dive into the part 2 of NIECY's gems that she's going to drop, this is the light housekeeping for today. And the title is Love. So whether it's platonic, romantic, or spiritual, as human beings, we all need love to thrive. But the truth is, we don't always get it right. Sometimes we walk into love the right way. Sometimes we go about it completely wrong. We all have different love languages, unique journeys, and many of us are still in the process of unlearning bad habits and discovering what true healthy love is really like. And I have just a few quotes that I want to read for y'all today. I did take one, and again, y'all respectfully, from the Bible. And this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, and always hopes, always preserves. And even looking at it through, let's just say, a worldly lens, thinkers like Maya Angelou reminded us, I do not trust people who do not love others and yet tell me that they love me. But she said in her quote, and yet tell me I love you. So if y'all understand where I'm coming from, the exact quote is, I do not trust people who don't love others and yet tell me I love you. There's also an African saying, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. Or, as Bell Hooks wrote in All About Love, love is an act of will, both an intention and an action. So we aren't here to judge anyone for how they loved or failed to love in the past. We're all growing, but we want to leave you with a few gems today so we can all do better in our relationships, whether they're online, in our homes, or just in our hearts. We have to remember that love is an active verb, not just a feeling. You cannot claim to love people while actively tearing them down or disrespecting their boundaries. Custom love the people in your life. Don't love people the way you prefer to be loved. Take the time to learn what they require to feel safe and cherished. Healing starts internally. You cannot give away what you refuse to cultivate within yourself. Self love sets the standard for how the world is allowed to treat you. A lot of us are working on this, me included. So, that is all I have for my housekeeping when it comes to love. And I do know a lot of people are looking for love. So I just wanted to lead with something positive today. But what did you think about that, Imani, before we dive into our content and get into the video with NIECY Nash?
No, that was great and well put. And a great counter to what I'm saying, that we need to think beyond the fighting and think about what's happening to people out there every day and people facing real trauma. That was really beautiful. Thanks, Golden.
Thank you for that. I just was like, I see it. I see it. And even through the turmoil and even through the discourse and the arguing and the fighting amongst us all, us that have been, connected with each other or just from the outside looking in through the window, I just feel like people want acceptance, they want love, they want understanding. And, we can get to that point, but there are a lot of things that even we have to do, within ourselves to navigate that space. What's up, Split? Thanks for coming in. Polo. Hey, Polo. Daisy. Hey, Daisy. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate y'all for joining us. And we hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the live. We're going to go ahead and dive right into it, y'all. So if y'all was here for the live yesterday, y'all know that we watched the part one of the interview with, excuse me, NIECY Nash and Keke Palmer. And she was talking about a lot of great things, like her beginnings, her upbringing when she was a child and some of the traumas that she experienced at a very young age, but also how, she navigates through life now, her mindset, and things of that nature. So we got a little bit more we're going to get into with the part two. So, yeah, you want to just dive right in, Imani? Or you got a few
Yeah,
things you
let's
want to add
let's dive right
to
in.
it?
We don't want to keep the people too long. Let's dive right
Exactly.
in.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this next portion of the live. And we will give y'all, for whoever didn't see it, I will give y'all, a little fill in. But we just want to move it right along so we don't hold y'all too long. So let's get into it. And, per usual, we're going to meet y'all over in the chat. We'll stop here and there so we can do our commentary break. All right, let's go.
What did you mean by that? Because you've already accomplished so much, but you do keep accomplishing so much more. What else in your mind? I mean, you maybe don't know, but you're just like, honey, I'm here.
You know, I felt like there is so much more to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just more to do. More uncharted territory, you know. I didn't direct until after that. You know what I mean? I'm working on a second book. I mean, just so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. Producing and, you know, all of the things. And so I just thought, wow, this is getting ready to be another chapter, you know.
Yeah.
And mind you, when I was 7, I was on 7 or 8 on the Walk of Fame with my dad. And I run into Ed Asner. I didn't know that was his name. My dad had to tell me. I said, I saw that man on TV before. He was the boss of Mary Tyler Moore Show or something.
Oh, I loved Mary.
And
We're
so,
gonna make it
after all.
Yeah.
And so I said, I know that guy from somewhere. He said, I walk up to him. I said, I know you don't know me. But my name is NIECY. And, you know, my name is going to be right on this ground on one of these stars one day.
That goes back to what you said. You start here, the manifestation is there. Everything in the middle is the meantime.
And you gotta say it till you see it. I said it at that age. And I never forgot that I said it. He was like, yeah, kid, scram. And when he was walking away, I was like, remember my name. And I didn't know how long it was going to take. But about 35, 40 years later, I end up on that Walk of Fame. I called that man. And I said, I don't know if you remember me.
No, you didn't, NIECY.
Sure did.
He's still living?
He said, I hope you, he said,
thank God.
He sent me a letter. I don't think now, but when I got the star, he was. But he said, I'm grateful that you didn't let a crotchety old man destroy your dream. Unfortunately, I can't come to your star ceremony. And he hand drew me a star and he wrote my name in the middle of it. And I thought that was so sweet. And then the day before the ceremony, he called and said, I'll be there. I couldn't even look at him. Google it. You can look up pictures.
NIECY, that is the most special. These kinds of things let me just know that God is so real. Just because the design of the life, the architecture of it all, like it can't be written by anything else other than that thing, that spirit, that divinity, unnamed. Yeah. Because what the heck?
I couldn't even look at him because my fake eyelashes was going to fall off. I couldn't even look over because I was like, he's sitting right there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
that is so special.
It's so special.
I love that. I love that. I mean, when we think about it, a lot of us think about it, Reno 911 is like a big turning point in your career where everybody got that real glimpse of your comedy chops. We could at least know NIECY is one to watch. How did it feel for you during that time when you got that role?
Can we talk about it? Because I lied my way into it.
I love that there's always a gag or goof. This is we could do a whole TV show over NIECY Nash's life, and there's always a gag episode. It's giving me life.
It's always a gag. So they called, and at first it was supposed to be sketch. And they were like, hi, we're just confirming you do sketch, right? I was like, of course. And then I called my friend Big George. Shout out to Big George. And I said, what the hell is sketch? What do I got to do? And so he told me what to do, characters and bits. I said, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't know that's what they called it. But yeah, I can do that. So I get my little stuff together and go down there.
Characters and bits.
Yeah. It was 2 other girls and me. One was stretching, one was doing vocal warm-ups, and I was sitting there reading the magazine. I said, well, should I get up and do something? But the audition was running very long, and I got up and knocked on the door.
Oh, no. NIECY, this is
I have a habit of, wait, now it's all coming back to me. It's a wonder I even work in this business. Okay, so I knocked on the door, and it was like about, I don't know, 12 people in a room. And 3 of them were produced. I don't know who they were.
Yeah.
I just knocked on the door and I said, hey, excuse me, what time are y'all going to get this dog and pony show started? And the lady really was upset. You know, she said, why? Are you in a hurry? I said, as a matter of fact, ma'am, I am. I got to get my kids to Chuck E. Cheese by 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Because the last time I got there late, they jumped on the mouse. The head came off. The man ran in the back. It was a show. I got to get there on time. So they said, okay, well, go ahead and come in. I was like, thank you. I do my bit. What are the odds? I get a call back. So I'm like on my way back. I begged my mother to watch my children. I said, Mama, I don't want to be distracted.
Yes.
You know, so I go back and I walk in and I say, hi, you guys, you know. The first thing they said, what happened at Chuck E. Cheese?
Okay.
Now I do a high five on Chuck E. Cheese. And then they said it was time for me to audition again. And I said, well, I didn't know enough to know that you need to workshop like
Your
bits. I
characters,
just have
yeah.
always been funny. So I felt like once I learned that how these comedy troupes do
Absolutely.
it, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But I knew I was funny. I said I could do the same thing I did last time, but I found this handkerchief in the back of my car. And on the way over here, I made up a bit called Carol the Slave. Y'all want to see that? I did. Not yes. I did. Come on, studio audience.
We do. We got it.
I said, so I did Carol the Slave. I leave. My mother said, how did it go? I said, I think it was funny. I said, this white lady fell out of her chair and was beating her fist on the ground. Who that person I now know to be as Carrie Kinney, who played Weigel with the little dark hair. She played Trudy Weigel, and I got that job. And, you know, I often say, I don't know that I was better than those two other girls, but I was very comfortable in my skin.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep hearing about everything. And I was going to ask you, but I'm glad you brought it up. Like, would you say that it was just confidence, or was it naivety? Was it you just being like, I can only be me? Like, where was that knocking on the door? Was it just like, you know?
I feel like I never tried to talk myself out of who I knew God made me to be. Never try to talk myself out of it. You know, you need to be more like this or more like that, or you need to act like this and decorum and this and that. Whatever it all was, I just was like, you know, I believe that everybody is so unique. And what's your bit? And what's your bit? I don't need to borrow from your bit, because I'm already over here rocking and rolling in my bit. And when people would say, I'm so sorry, we're going another way, my honest reaction was, guys, I feel so sorry for you.
That's right.
Because I'm going to be a big deal. You'll see.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I was just going on about it.
And as you continue to grow, and what, I don't know, whatever people would call learn more or elevate or just, you know, access different things coming to your mind, how did you make sure that NIECY Nash, that core of what you call as being you, how did you make sure it sustained as you blossomed into more?
You know, again, the people who you hang around, you know, will not let you your feet get too far off the ground. You know, it's like, Pumpkin, not too much.
Right. Yeah.
Not too much.
Yeah.
You know?
They keep you grounded.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Would you ever be open to a reunion episode of Reno 911?
Oh, I'm the reason why we keep coming back together. Every couple years, I email everybody twice a year, like, hi guys, let's put the band back together. Guys, I just found my old booty in the closet. Anybody? Y'all want to go get drinks as our characters? And I just keep putting it out there. I've said it on red carpets. I'm like, I can't wait till we get the band back together. And every few years or so, we'll come back and find something to do.
I love that.
All right, y'all. So we're going to pause it right there for a quick commissary break. Oh, my God, yo. NIECY Nash just be giving me life for real. Because, for one, she has the biggest personality, right? And she's just like, she's funny, but she's loving and she's kind and she's nice and she's just herself, you know, like really raw, you know, with it. And so I don't know. I just feel like I'm gravitated to like her personality and stuff, because I feel like I'm kind of similar. I know a lot of people may feel sometimes like on this platform, they say like, oh, she's boring. She's boring. Y'all have no idea. Like, y'all have no idea. I'm just like that as well. But girl, now she said she went to go get her booty out the closet to bring Reno 911 back together. But so many great things that she said in this segment right here. But it was a lot about just like basically betting on you, you know, and she started doing that and just having that level of confidence at like a real young age. You know, it's just who she was and how she was. That's what she led with all the time. And now we see where she's at. So it's just like, I feel like if you bet on that and you push forward with that, and you never let nobody deter you from it. Like, never let nobody tell you that you're not enough. Never let nobody tell you you're not funny enough. Never let nobody tell you that you're corny. You ain't got this, you ain't got that. You know, for certain things, yeah, maybe who you are may not fit, the bill. But it doesn't mean it's over for you. It don't mean that you're not gonna have chances. It don't mean that you're gonna win and make it out here anyway, despite any of that. But you have to be comfortable in your skin. And I think that's a blessing for her that she literally had that type of mindset very early on. One of the things that I can say is I didn't. Very early on, I did not have that mindset. I did not have that level of confidence. Um, and I didn't see things that way. I was very much a people pleaser when it comes to like my heart and my kindness. But when it came to like, how I just want to be, like I never wanted to fit into any groups or cliques or anything like that. And again, like I think a lot of times the way we are is can be due to the fact that, if you have siblings, then you have to find your place. You know what I'm saying? Like within your siblings. And that gives you, I guess, understanding of what role you will take. And then you carry that with you through life. But if you don't have siblings and you always by yourself, I feel like that also has and plays a big role as well. So, like for me, being an only child, I've always done things by myself. So it's like I got out into life and it was like I didn't have problems, being by myself or doing things by myself because I've always done that. Aside from my mom, my grandma, they might help and aid and assist me on things I can't do because I'm too little. But once I'm capable and I got old enough to do things by myself, I'm rocking on my own, you know? And then because when you do that, you make your own rules. You know what I mean? Like you're literally doing what you want to do, how you want to do it, because how you don't have to like conform into anybody else's space, or you don't have to take, anybody else's not necessarily feelings or anything like that into consideration, but it's just like, yeah, okay, well, let's just say that, yeah, maybe you can be like that when you're a lone wolf. And that's why sometimes people like come up against lone wolves or around them and they're like, yo, you don't have no compassion. Like, you don't have no care about what I think or what I feel or my choices and my decisions. And I think that you also have to find a place where you find that balance as well, because being a lone wolf and a loner, that's already programmed in your mind. Like you just doing your thing. You're not necessarily thinking about anybody. It's not to say that you want to hurt or harm or, don't have no care, but it's like you just so used to chugging it along by yourself. It's like when other people come along, you're trying to figure out like, okay, well, how do you fit into this mix here with me? Because I'm used to doing stuff by myself. So if you coming along with me, what we doing here? But anyway, Imani, let me let you go, girl. I didn't talk enough. What was some of your thoughts, feelings, and opinions about this segment so far?
Yeah, I mean, what I found interesting is the fact that um, she says that she never tried to talk herself out of the person she believed God created her to be. And when it comes to, you can put it into, it's not only going for auditions. I always found when I went for job interviews, the jobs that I really, really wanted, I would tighten up and not be myself in the interview because I wanted it so much. So I would go in there trying to be this character that I thought they wanted for that role. But when I used to go for jobs that I wasn't particularly bothered about, I would be so chilled and relaxed. I would get those jobs so easily because I wasn't that bothered. So I was really more of myself. And what I had to do was to learn to have that balance between being myself and bringing some of the characteristics or showing them some of the characteristics they would want for the role. So it not being as relaxed as I was when I wasn't that bothered, but being relaxed enough to be able to showcase, my character. And that was really hard for me to do because any job I found for a long time, any job I really wanted, I would go in there and I'd be so stiff and I'd be saying, oh, yes, this is what I do. And this is how I do it. Whereas if I wasn't that bothered, I would be like asking, the person interviewing me, so what do you like to do in your spare time? Because I would be so chilled about the job because I wasn't that bothered. And that's the thing, that finding that balance is good. And what she has done is she has just not allowed anybody to she's not made herself smaller to fit into any space that she wants to be in. And also, the people around her have helped her, kept her grounded as, her successful career grew. But she doesn't say, and the other thing is, she's not vain or arrogant. She doesn't think she was more talented than any other person that were going for those roles. She said she was completely comfortable being herself. So I thought that was quite funny. And I thought also the Walk of Fame dream that she spoke about as a young girl, and remembers telling what's his name, Ed Asner, that her name was going to be on a Hollywood star. And the fact that he was there when she got her Hollywood star, how many years later, that in itself also an achievement, that someone who is such, a name in Hollywood came to her ceremony. So the whole section was really about believing in yourself, and not needing the world to validate you. But I do get what you say about being a loner, because, my son's an only child and he really can. Sometimes I say to him, because I grew up with siblings, so I was always used to sharing my space, the television, whatever, the food, the sweets with someone else. And he's used to being, not having to really share. But it does make him quite focused and resilient on what he wants. And he can really shut people out and say, this is what I want and this is where I'm going. And it doesn't matter. It's not that he doesn't care, but he's very, very focused on what his goals are. And, not allowing people to take away or to sap his energy, which has made him quite good in what he's tried to do. But I grew up, with brothers and sisters. So I'm always thinking, because growing up sharing. So, sometimes we do clash about that when I say, you just don't think about anybody but yourself. He said, well, you should have had more children. So that's when
Wait a
I
minute.
when I laugh.
Wait, wait
But
a minute.
yeah, she
Said that?
really, really shows that she kept her dream alive, even about the Hollywood star. And she knows that she didn't know everything, but she didn't allow that to intimidate her. And she learned what she needed and walked into any room and trusted herself. And she is just so funny. The way she tells it as well is hilarious. The story
Right.
about Chuck E. Cheese, telling them, have you got somewhere to go? Yes, I have. That's confidence. That's her confidence. So,
Yeah.
you don't always have to be the most perfect person, because sometimes what really makes you stand out is your authenticity and your courage. And you're not always, I was never always prepared for interviews, but the ones that I got were the ones literally when they asked me a technical question that I didn't know, that I could switch the conversation and make them talk about something I wanted to talk about. So I do think it is being comfortable in your own skin. And that's what I think she was trying to get across. You've got to be comfortable in your own skin, whatever you do. I think it's a really good lesson for a lot of people, because I think it takes us a while. I mean, it's a lot easier for some people to just naturally do that. But sometimes you just have to be comfortable in your own skin and think, that if they don't like me, it's not the right role or the right job for me. And my role will come, when I'm ready or when it's ready for me. That's what I thought about this section.
Right, I absolutely agree, and that's why sometimes I joke and stuff like that. And I may say like, yeah, I done been kicked out of better places than this. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff is a joke because it's just like you go through and you navigate through life and you know that sometimes you'll end up in places where it's meant to be for you to be there. And sometimes you realize that, like, no, this is not where I'm meant to be. And that's okay. And maybe it's because I don't fit in, or maybe it's because people don't understand me. But I still know, like who I am and, how I am and what I bring to the table. And one of the things that she said is, for some of like, the auditions and whatnot that she had where she wasn't chose, she was like, okay, well, that's your loss. It is. It really, really is because look at where she is now. Look at all the things that she has done and has been able to accomplish. And that's because she was always from the beginning, like betting on herself, knowing like, this is what I bring to the table. This is what I bring to the conversation and the mix. And either you like it or you don't. You take it or you leave it. It's up to you. But I know I got a pretty valuable package over here. So if you don't want it, hey, that's your loss. You know what I mean? So I feel like she kind of had that type of like energy as well. And I think also, this is very important, why she has navigated through the Hollywood space, in the celebrity space as well as she has, is because she came in already having that mindset and having that energy. Not being, and this is no shade to, some people that may not necessarily come in with that, but not coming in, looking for someone to tell you who you are and who you should be. Coming in already knowing who you are and what you bring to the table and what you will accept, what you won't accept, what you will do, what you won't do, and being able to put boundaries and whatnot, in your life and the choices that you make because you know those things. And I think that it's unfortunate that sometimes people don't get to that place early. Sometimes people get there later in life, and with the way the industry works, sometimes it's too late. But child, she already came in knowing like, yeah, I know what I bring to the table and what I'm capable of. That's JJ. And she was like, yeah. And I think when you see people who come in with that, JJ, now I done told you now. When you come in with that, you find yourself less likely to fall for anything. You know what I mean? But you have a few more things you want to say, Money? You want to hop right back into the video? I'm gonna have to get him a snack, y'all.
No, we can hop right back in.
All right, let's get
I'm
back
on a
into it. I'll
tight
be right.
schedule today.
Yeah, I got you. All right, let's get back into it.
What do you feel that your character, Anisha, especially coming in and not even knowing much about that type of work, that sketch work, what did she teach you in terms of your comedic voice?
Trust your gift. Trust it. Because now you're around all these seasoned people who have been in all of these high profile comedy troupes. You know what I mean?
Girl, that's how I felt with you on Scream Queens, with you and Glenn.
What are you even talking about?
Yes.
You mean me and Jamie?
You and Jamie, and Glenn Powell.
Oh, Glenn Powell.
Girl, you remember Glenn Powell?
Yeah, I love Glenn.
Glenn, girl, watching you and Glenn, I was in so many scenes and I used to tell y'all this all the time, and you would always look at me just how you always looked at me like, girl, you could do it. It ain't no big. But I would be studying you. That taught me so much about improv on that show, because I was like, yo, this is an opportunity for me as an adult to really mature in what my comedic voice is, what it means to take chances. How do I understand improv and improving within the context of the situation? Not just saying something because it's funny, but saying something that's true. And that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
I would watch everything. We would be working on that show, NIECY, and they would never, ever, ever give her a note. And I'm not even kidding, guys. They would just be like, go. And they'd be like, okay, great, another one. And she would come up with something different each time that was still within the framework of the moment. And I just remember literally looking at you in complete and utter awe, just drooling. And I was like, NIECY, will you do this video with me online? Will you do this thing with me? Because I was just so blown away by that. Watching that skill, that is just like the best school that you could ever be in.
Yeah.
And I was just, when I tell you, I was soaking up every minute of Miss NIECY Nash. That was the best time. You taught me so much. You really, really did, just by watching you do you. And I would see you and Glenn going back and forth. He was the only one to keep up with you.
Well, you know what? But I, you know how oftentimes people say you see yourself in someone. Definitely watching you on that set, because you're working with a whole bunch of girls and it's a lot of energy. And I remember that, like, your trailer was like ground zero. You having a problem and you having a problem? Come on in here and let's talk about it. And I was be like, yes, Keke, yes. You know what I mean? That's me. That's what I would have did.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that energy it's a gift to many.
Yeah. I was happy that a lot of the girls could trust me. That was nice. That was a good vibe about the show. It gave a very comforting sisterhood in moments. Let's talk about Clean House.
Yeah, what was crazy was that I had just had my last baby. I have 3 children, and I begged their father. I said, it was like I had the baby 6 weeks later. He was like, it's time to go back to work. And I was like, wait a minute. I've given my body over 3 times to bring life in the world. If I could have 9 months just for me, to just let me just see what I could do in 9 months. And if at the end of this 9 months, I don't make it crack, I'll go back to work.
Yeah.
Put my pinky up, twisted it, and was like, boom. Now the clock is ticking. And it took me about 7.5 months. I booked my home makeover show, Clean House, right? Maybe about 2 weeks later, I booked Reno 911. And a week after that, I booked recurring on the Bernie Mac show as his sister, Auntie Benita.
And I loved, I
never went back to work.
The Bernie Mac show. I love the Bernie Mac show. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. I loved your character on there. It was great.
Yeah. And so after that, never went back to work.
Wow. And then you won a daytime Emmy. That was your first time that you won an Emmy.
Producing that show. I loved it. I've been out with it even now, trying to see if I could bring it back.
Well, you also had the one that you did with your family, which was cool. That they now start pulling clips of.
Yes.
The reality show that you
Leave
had
It
with
to NIECY.
Leave It to NIECY, that now is coming up on socials. How you feel about that?
Girl.
They're popping up again.
I know. I love the clips that just include me and my children. There were other people in my life at the time. And I'm like, oh God.
Oh my gosh.
But I love that people they just started discovering it. It's like, I was like, that show was so long ago, but it was a good time.
Yeah, but you've always been producing diversifying and producing different things that I think, like, we could even say were quote unquote before their time, but in any regard, you've always been acknowledged for it. So, you built a long relationship with Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have done multiple projects together. What do you appreciate most about that relationship, especially from a showrunner?
I think that Ryan is so creative, and you never know when he gives you a script, what it's going to be. But most of the time I've said yes to Ryan without a script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Many of us have, because you don't know what, but you know it's going to be something.
It's Ryan, and you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
The one that I'm doing now, All's Fair, with Kim Kardashian, Naomi Watts, Glenn Close, Tiana Taylor.
Shout out Tiana.
Sarah Paulson. Yes, we love our some
TT. Girl.
So, none of us got a script, and all said yes.
Yeah.
And then the script came later. So I just trust him.
Yeah.
I trust him so much.
When it comes to getting to do more drama now at this point, from the beginning of this, you said you always wanted to do drama. So what was it like to finally start getting roles, the opportunity to play dramatic roles?
Heaven.
Yeah.
A blessing.
Yeah.
But now I want back in. They forgot I was funny, Keke. Now I gotta scrape up a comedy. I'm like, everything I look at, she's crying and dying.
Oh my
she's
God.
Down and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
I just was like, what just happened?
The industry is very much like that. Like, whatever you do, the most of them. That's why mom used to always tell me, you don't let people tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
That's right.
And they'll believe it.
I love your mama.
Because we're all from the same vibe. Where it's like, at the end of the day, like, I set the tone. So it's like, if I'm being funny, then everybody's like, oh. If you're being serious, like, she's such a serious. It's like, what, guys? Like, it's just a switch that you could turn on and off.
Yeah.
And you've done, I mean, limited series, sitcoms, reality.
Yeah.
You've anchored series. I mean, the credits are so long. What's the real art to not just booking, but becoming indispensable?
Well,
Because you are that.
I found out through some other actors that I had a nickname I didn't know about. And they were calling me NIECY the Range Nash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was so blessed by that. I was so blessed by that because to know that your peers can trust you.
Yes.
Whatever your script, your project is, call me. You want it funny, you want a drama, you want a host, you want a this, you know what I mean? All of those boxes are checked. And it just made me feel like, you know, a very blessed woman to know that my peers can trust me no matter what the genre.
Absolutely. I mean, 1000%. You are that person. How do you stay hungry when, I mean, you've accomplished so much? What keeps pushing you and what inspires you at this point in your career?
Well, first of all, I'm expensive.
Okay.
I mean,
now let's get into that.
I like things. I like to go places and eat stuff. No, the real reason, is because I feel like there's always something new to uncover in my art. It's a million things I could have played that I haven't yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, discovering different parts of my art, whether it's writing or producing or finding a character that I've never played before, it all still tastes so delicious. I'm not over it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not over it.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. And I always wonder to myself, like, will it ever come a day where I'm not, you know, engaged with it? You know, I don't know what that would look like, but I really still feel so passionate about my art. But I guess that's what it is to just be an artist. You know, whatever it is across the board, I'm engaged. You know, I want to switch gears because I got to bring up your performance in Ava DuVernay's When They See Us. I mean, that's very heavy, sacred work. Anytime we have to do something that involves like structural, systemic racism, art, you know,
and real people,
it can be really, really tough. That's how I did a movie, Alice. It wasn't a real character, but that experience had happened to somebody before. And just getting into the shoes of like our ancestors or what our community has endured, it can be really a lot. So how did you prepare yourself for that and being so, just invested in this story in concentrated amount of time?
So with regards to When They See Us, first of all, I love me some Ava DuVernay. But she really protected us and made sure that we had a very extensive Bible on the whole story, the people that were still alive. We were able to meet, I call them the exonerated five, but we were able to meet them and you know what I mean? And that bit of it. So, and then we also, it was the only job I've ever done where they had counseling available for you when you got off work if you needed it.
Wow. Shout outs to Ava for that.
Yeah, because, you know, most of the time you just go home heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
oh my gosh. Wow.
But she made sure that there was a number you could call and it was available for the run of the shoot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that was beautiful work, incredible stuff.
Thank you.
You know, but let's switch gears for a second and talk about how you hit us with that plot twist in 2020. And
can we talk about it?
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
All right, y'all. So they coming up with a break. So we're going to take a quick commentary break as well. But Imani, I'm going to let you go first this time, girl. So in this little segment of what we heard, what were some things that stood out to you and some things that they were discussing? And what are your feelings and thoughts and opinions on them? It was so much. It's so jam-packed with like some great information and talking points. But what did you think about that so far?
Let me unmute. She talks a bit. She talks a lot. She did a lot of work. I mean, and right up until the moment she gave birth to her third child. So you know, a working mother with 3 children. Um, she really as well as being a mother, she took time to pursue her career ambitions. I mean, look what she did: Clean House, Reno 911, and a recurring role on the wonderful Bernie Mac, R.I.P. And she won an Emmy for her work on on Clean House. Um, she basically worked at everything, and obviously worked with Ryan Murphy, whose biography as a producer is, second to none. I mean, he did, what did he do? Let me see. Oh, is it American Horror Story? He did Circus of Books, Secret Love, Boys in the Band. I mean, he's done so much on television as well, like American Horror Story, Glee, Nip Tuck, you know, Scream Queens, obviously, American Crime Story, 911, the 911 series, and
Ryan
she
Murphy
just,
is really, he is a really dope person. I love all of his stuff. Like I've
yeah,
watched all of it. Yeah, he's really,
yeah.
really good.
And she said she just trusted, she didn't even have to read the scripts eventually, and to have that trust in someone, to know that they're not gonna put you in anything that they don't think suits you. And her mother's advice was her biggest philosophy: don't let people tell you who you are, tell them who you are. She's got so much versatility in what she did. And then talking about how they see us, which was, I don't know if everybody's seen this, but she calls it them, which we should call them, the exonerated five. I mean, she's talking a lot about owning her identity, and that Hollywood primarily saw her as a comedian. But look, she was in How They See Us, which, yeah, it's, you have to have the stomach for it when you watch that show about the Central Park Five, or the Exonerated Five, as they're known as, and doing, a story that's based on reality, and having to have therapy, after each day's filming. I mean, how, obviously they had to meet the real life characters to play it, and the emotional intensity that must have been, to have counselling support for available at all times. That must have been a difficult series to. I mean, I saw it and I was quite disturbed after I saw it, and it's one of those things I've never been able to watch again, because it was distressing, I think. um I think that her versatility, being able to be a dramatic actress and not just seen as a comedian, she doesn't accept, the pigeonholes that people put her into. um so yeah, she's, I don't know, there's so much that she's done, and obviously working with Ryan Murphy was a great addition to her career. I don't know, what did you think? I mean, she did so much, I can't even begin to reel off all her stuff. But the 911's, is a great series. Just there's so many things that she's done. But working with Bernie Mac, as his sister, I remember, tuning into the Bernie Mac show. I do watch that sometimes to cheer myself up. I don't know what you think. Sorry, it's not How They See Us, it's When They See Us.
No, I think that was a really, really good segment right there. It was very jam packed with all of the things she was talking about, right? And it again segue from where she started for just talking about betting on yourself. And yeah, like she spoke a lot about working with Ryan Murphy, totally trusting him, and him trusting also the people that he brings onto his projects to bring to the character, what he knows that they can bring based off of what he's seen, that they are capable of, not just within their work, but just who they are as a person. And I think that that makes the project that much more powerful, and really brings it home. Man, I watched Niecy Nash in a lot of things. Claws, child, I love me some Claws. She did a really excellent job in Claws. But one of my favorite, that's weird that that's my favorite, but y'all, I watch a lot of horror, and I like a lot of horror and thrillers and things like that. And I have watched her on a series. It's called Grotesquerie. I don't know if y'all seen that. I believe when I watched it, it was on Hulu, but it's probably on different streaming platforms. But that show Grotesquerie, she played a detective, and it was a really powerful show. Like, I don't know how much more to say about it, but it was dark. I ain't gonna lie. So trigger warning if anybody wants to check it out. From my recommendation, I'm telling you right now, it's very dark. I don't know if everybody can stomach a show like that. Um, but the way she played that detective role, and how it simultaneously was like multiple things happening at the same time, like she's out here trying to solve crimes and cases, but she's also trying to solve, what is going on. Child, it was a lot of twists and turns. I ain't even going to do no spoilers right now. That is a really good psychological thriller show. Um, so if y'all want to check that out, that's really good as well. But yeah, Niecy is dope. Niecy is really dope. She can do just about anything. Like, she can play just about any role. Like, she's very talented. And then outside of her being within her workspace, from what I've seen, like with her just being on interviews and things like that, it just seems like she has a really great personality. Like, when she walks in, she lights up the room, type personality. And I just think that that's dope. But we're gonna go ahead, Imani, and let you say a few more things, and then we'll take a song
Yeah,
break and get back to
yeah,
the live.
yeah. There was a, the thing about When They See Us was she was talking about the emotional weight of portraying a real story that involved a lot of things: racism, injustice, and families whose lives were significantly changed. And it required more than performance. Um, it required more than performance. That's why they needed the counselling, because they took away stuff after playing these roles. There was a lot of pain that they had to portray, that they really felt after the filming ended. And I felt, even watching it. That's why I said there are lots, there are a few things you can watch again. I couldn't watch that again. I've watched it once, and sometimes you'll go back and say, oh, that was a good program. Let me watch it again. I can't watch that again because it was painful, actually, really. And seeing them at
Right,
the end of it, the real five, was quite painful, and how in what they've
right.
been through. And I think one of them went into politics in New York. I can't remember which one, but I remember seeing him at the last elections. But yeah, it was very, very painful, that one.
Yeah, it was. It's hard, to watch. And the thing is about it is like, I mean, I think for some of us, it may not be hard to watch because we watched it in real life play out. And we watch it every day in real life play out, depending on where we're from. You know what I'm saying? And what we see in our neighborhoods and our communities. And so if we see it in real and raw time, and then we watch, like a film or whatnot about it, it kind of just, it brings up old scars or whatnot, and rips the band-aid off. And those emotions just replay all over again. But a lot of times we see that for what it is in real time in our neighborhoods, when it's going down in real time. Not just when we watching it in cinema, we watching it in the streets. You know what
No,
I mean?
I
So
think it's just a me thing. I think I find that even when I've seen real life portrayals of, even there's a lot of real life. The BBC does a lot of real life portrayals of, youth violence, and the real true crime stories. And it's like a drama doc. I find it quite difficult because they are stories that I did watch in real time. That's what I say. It's a me thing, probably not an everybody thing, but I find it quite difficult to, to rewatch some of those things, like the Stephen Lawrence story, or just watching the pain of some of those parents. And especially, as I was talking to you about with the youth violence, there are quite a few, of really young people going to school and never returning. Trigger warning, trigger warning. But it's quite painful, to see some of these things, especially when they show the live footage of what happened on the street when some of these things happened. But hey, that's me. But we'll move on. We're going to go on to a song because I don't want to keep you guys too long.
Right. And I know you got to get up out of here, girl, because I know you got a few things to get into. But one of the other shows, just real quick, that I really did like that Niecy Nash was in as well. And I think that also was a Netflix series, is, when they did the remake of the Jeffrey Dahmer story. And
Oh yeah.
Niecy, yeah, she played
Oh yes.
the neighbor that lived right next door to him in the apartment
Yeah, I
building.
remember. Yeah, she was
Yeah,
really good. She was really
that was a
good.
really good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how that's down. We
Yeah,
ain't got to get
because
into
they
all
were
that.
suspicious, weren't they? They were suspicious and they were ignored.
They were ignored. They kept saying things. They were like, "Yo, something's not right with this tenant.
Yeah, I
Something
remember
is
that.
not right.
Yeah.
There's a weird, you know what I'm saying? Like there's weird smells coming from like, their apartment that's flowing into mine because our apartments is right next to each other. This guy is weird. People come in and they don't leave out. Like that, and that's based on a true story because there was
Mm.
a real black woman that was living in the apartment building next to Jeffrey Dahmer that was trying to scream to the top of her lungs and tell police and officials that like, yo, something is not right with what this guy is doing over here in his apartment. There's something weird about him. And they would not take her seriously. And I don't know if it's because she was a black woman. I don't know if it's because that they lived in the hood, or the projects or the ghetto or whatever like that. But, that was the real story. And she played that part of that woman that actually did that in the real life and story of the Jeffrey Dahmer situation, trying to like get people to be like something's not right here. And had they would have listened and maybe took the proper action sooner, then maybe some of those people would still be here. But again, that's another conversation for
It's
another day.
quite,
But
yeah,
all I'm saying,
that's a topic for us because we had a story of in the UK of a guy, Dennis Nielsen, who was doing a similar thing to Jeffrey Dahmer, and trigger warning again. And I knew a friend of mine was a carpet fitter, and he went to fit carpets in the house next door, and he was talking about the smell of the drains, and that there was this really weird smell, and was telling the guy that was with him, who said, oh, that's nothing weird, it just must be the drains. But it's amazing how different people, have a sense. And he said this, he said, I said, this needs to be reported because this is not right. But this was a man similar to Jeffrey Dahmer who was killing who was unaliving young men. Trigger warning, trigger warning. But yeah, there's a guy called Dennis Nilsson. But that's a story for another day. And you and Split probably have lots to talk about because you both like horror, because Split, she gets nowhere when she wants to talk to me about horror because I don't do horror. So maybe you've got someone you can discuss the horror with. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not
yeah,
for me.
I know. And it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, like child, I will go to sleep watching horror movies and horror shows and stuff like that. I don't know what that says about me, child. Maybe I need to
It's
figure out.
weird
Is
as
it something
hell to
wrong?
me. Weird as hell.
I
I
don't.
could never go to sleep watching horror movies. Never, never, never. But
A lot
anyway,
of horror
so
movies
we'll
to me,
just.
though. A lot
Yeah,
of
I
horror
know
movies
you
to me
love
that I
horror.
watch,
I'm
they're
not.
not
I'm
even
not
scary
one for it.
though.
I don't like horror. I don't like films on the occult either. It's just the two
I
genres that I'm
understand.
not really into. But there you
Yeah, yeah.
go.
Nah, we all gotta have our
The
own
nearest
thing, you
I
know.
came to the occult is watching Ghost. No, don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
with
I
Patrick
watched
Swayze and
I did watch The Exorcist, and I did watch The Omen, and I think that was enough for me. But that was my limit. But hey, but anyway, we're going to go for a song break, aren't we now? And we're going to come back and do a little bit more. Hopefully, we can get this done today.
yeah, we're gonna try to get through this with y'all because we don't be on the whole job for too long, but we don't want to bore you too. So we try to give you a little bit of everything as we go through the live. So let's take a quick little song break and we'll be back. We're gonna get into some more of the conversation. And if y'all, want to hang around, I hope you really do, because we're gonna get into the portion of where she starts talking about I think what is beautiful when it comes to like her marriage and her relationship with Jessica Betts. And I think it's something that we all probably received and felt like we were off guard with, not thinking that, Niecy Nash is going to end up in a beautiful, excellent marriage with a woman. But she did,
Oh,
and it worked.
uh,
They love each other
and if
down to
they
the
can't
ground.
stay,
Man,
they go over and please anyway, regardless, go over and subscribe and support Keke Palmer because she does some fantastic interviews. Sorry to cut you, it was just that just came to mind that we haven't told them. Go over and support her, subscribe to her
right.
channel. She's got some great interviews. But we're gonna have a song break and then we're gonna come back and talk about her relationship.
Mm-hmm. And as we doing the song break, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in the chat for y'all. So if y'all want to go over and watch this specific interview on your own accord at your own time, and you can please support Keke Palmer. And baby, this is Keke Palmer podcast. I love her down to the ground. And so yeah, I'm gonna drop that link while we listen to a little song break,
Are
and
we
we'll be
having
right back.
karaoke? Did I hear a bit of karaoke?
No, no. I be clowning, girl. I'll sing a little something, something every now and then. I don't think it sound good, but I'll sing it. That's what she said. She
You
said,
sing it, I'll
"Baby,
play
you
it.
keep summer." I don't know. Did I get that right? I don't know. Anyway, let's take a quick song break. Let them do the singing, and then we'll be right back, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us. See you in just a bit.
Yeah. Everybody got a version of me. But this is my truth. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey. Everybody got opinions, never ask me who I am. Read one page, close the book, now they think they understand. They call my kindness weakness, my forgiveness being blind. But I just refuse to let this cold world steal my shine. I've been stabbed in the back, still I lead with love. Lost a lot of people, still I look above. Smile through the pressure, I survive the rain. Turn my tears into diamonds, turn my losses into gain. Don't mistake my silence for not seeing. Peep every vibe, every switch, every reason. Real power knows when to leave without making a scene. I'm misunderstood, it's alright. God's still writing every line. I'm more than labels, more than pain, more than every rumor attached to my name. If you really wanna know me, walk beside me, not behind me, not faded diamonds got more than one side. Some days I'm the storm, some days I'm the sunrise. I make my own choices, I stand on my own feet. Can't nobody live my purpose or rewrite my dreams. God gave me free will, I'm gonna use mine. If I stumble, I get up every single time. I answer to my conscience in heaven above, not strangers who mistake my beat for giving up. I won't scream to fit your comfort, I won't dim. To feed your ego with freedom looks different. Then let me be different. Still I'm standing, still believing, still becoming. Maybe if we listen before we judge, we discover we all carry invisible scars. So before you decide who somebody is, learn what they survived. The song is for every soul who's ever felt misunderstood. Misunderstood.
All right, y'all. So thanks for rocking with us with that quick little song break. I hope y'all can hear me. I went ahead and put the link when it comes to Baby. This is Keke Palmer in this interview that she is having with excuse me, y'all, NIECY NASH-BETTS. So if y'all need to watch on your own accord, you can do it there, or if you'd like to watch it with us as we're doing it here, you know, on the live and talking about it together, whatever floats your boat, y'all. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the rest of it. Before we get into it, Imani, did you have a few things you wanted to add, or did you want to
No,
just
we
jump
can just
right
keep
back in?
going.
Because I know you have to go.
Yeah, we can dive back in. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
all
it's
right.
it's the time difference today. But don't worry, I'll soon be on your
I
time
know.
zone.
And it's later there for you than it is here for me. So, you know, I got to get you up out of here, girl. So you ain't got to be up here all night.
Mm.
But yeah, let's go ahead and get back into it. We don't have much more to go, y'all. We don't. We really don't. So thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Even if you listen in the bushes, we appreciate that as well. And I hope y'all like the music and all of that stuff too. So hopefully it's a nice little production and a show for y'all. And it keeps you entertained. But let's get back into some more of the video, and we will meet y'all in the chat per usual, and then do our talking points in between.
Y'all, I have questions about everything. What should I cook tonight? Is it jacket weather or am I overthinking this? Should I take that opportunity?
Project in Jersey. JB and I have been friends for 1,000 years.
1,000. Come on,
Well, I
centuries,
mean,
love.
you know, we just been friends.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I mean? We just were friends for a couple years, and maybe like four and a half. But I never thought about her as someone I would date. You know what I mean? But every time I came to New York, we hung out. We went to go do plays. Matter of fact, wait a minute. No, you was in Cinderella.
Yeah.
I don't think
y'all came. No,
No,
Sherry was in it.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I came to that, but JB and I think, went to Wicked. But
Okay.
but it neither.
It's fine.
I saw you. She just didn't see you.
Yeah. I remember you came.
Yeah. So anywho, we would always hang out, but I didn't even tell her I was there that time because in my mind, I got confused. I'm not an East Coast girl. So I thought, I don't know what I thought. She's like, are you in New York? I was like, no, I'm in Jersey. She was like, you're in New York. And I was like, oh, okay. But anywho, and we hung out, and it was just something that I did not see coming.
Do you think she was waiting on her chance?
No.
So
Do
what
not.
happened about this time that you think it was just like, I guess the timing was right, that you started to see it with a different set of eyes?
Okay. She said, I'm a pull up on you because you live so close to me. I'm on my way to see this girl, but I'm going to stop by and see you first.
Okay.
I said, okay, great. Nothing unusual.
Yeah.
Laughing, talking, catching up. And then I said, well, how long is your train ride? She said, well, I'm going to be on the train for a minute. I said, well, did you eat?
NIECY, now you know what your grandmama said.
I wasn't on nothing. I understand that. But this is what happened. See, some people have the sauce. Some people got the juice. Some people are NIECY Nash and have both. And I don't even know what to tell you. Because this is why I stay in a relationship, Keke, because they will stand out in front of my house like I'm,
with
you know
that
what I mean?
boombox. I need to know how. Because they throwing rocks at mine.
No, girl, get from over there. So, I don't know. I'm a like a honeybee. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, made her some food, sent her on her way. Still didn't think anything.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I was walking out the door to go get some crabs. She called. Where you going? What you doing? What type of time you want? I said, I'm going to get some crabs. I want crabs. I said, okay, well, meet me at the spot. She was late. I was already a cluster in. Okay? I'm not waiting on you.
Cluster in is crazy.
Because it's not a date. So when she sat down to order her crabs, and now we just talking over some crabs, I saw her with fresh eyes.
Is when she was eating them crabs. That'll do it.
Every time. In the words of Cardi B, every time. But no, my stomach started getting hot. And I'm like, that only happens when I like boys. Why is my stomach hot? What's going on here, guys? What's going on? And so I had to, I was like, first of all, this is a woman and it's my friend.
Right.
You know, and I was like, why is my stomach hot? It was betraying me. I was like, I don't understand what's happening. So I needed to try to figure it out. So I tried to keep it going. I didn't know she had a date that night. She was going to go see somebody after we had dinner, but I didn't know that. And so I said, well, I'm about to go back home and watch one of my favorite movies. You want to come? Because I wanted to see if the heat in my stomach was going to die down. Girl.
First of all, what did y'all watch?
Sparkle. But let me clarify.
Okay.
Let me clarify. The original.
Yeah, so
Irene, Cara, Philip, Michael Thomas.
Very dramatic.
No hunching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of that was happening in the movie.
For sure.
We just watched the movie and my stomach was hot as a firecracker.
Pop, pop, pop.
Mm-hmm. And then it was time to go. And
she didn't go.
Well, I walked her to the door.
And she turned back around.
And then I hugged her, which was not unusual. I kissed her on the cheek, which was also not unusual. But my tongue slipped out a bit. And she looked at me and said, want to go lay down? Keke, I've been laying down ever since. See, this is amazing. I was like, what is my life? And so
what is my life?
The reason, and the thing of it wasn't a secret, but it was private because we were trying to figure it out. Sure. Because I ghosted her shortly thereafter because fix your face.
You started asking yourself, like, does this mean I'm gay type thing?
No, I said, I want this person to be in my life when they throw dirt on my face.
What that mean?
When I'm dead and gone.
Gotcha.
I want you standing right. That's how long I want to know you to the dirt. And if I did something that messed up the friendship, I will never forgive myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't want this to be something and now, we not
and
good.
You've had love and it's been, over. So it's like when you've experienced,
I don't ever want you to be over in my life.
That's right.
I want you to find me in every lifetime.
Yeah.
That's how much I don't want it to be over. And I definitely don't want to do something to lose you in this lifetime. Because what if I don't find you in another one? And so that's why I left, because I was like, I need to go back to protect the friendship. Because I would rather have you for the rest of my life than love you right now with losing you.
That's true.
That's what I wanted in a moment. And I couldn't stop thinking about her. It was just no way around it.
Now, was she reaching out and you were
Every
ignoring?
day, 3 times a day.
And you would just kind of put wedge the distance.
Good morning. Hope you have a beautiful day. Crickets. Good afternoon. Hope your day going well. Nothing. Good evening. You all right? You good?
Grand Rising coming next.
Huh? Okay? And I just was like, mm-mm. And then one day she texted me and said, the text simply said, I will never hurt you. And I texted back and said, come see me. And that was that on that.
The lines of
she
it
said,
all.
I'm coming. And then she came and that was that on that. And so when the world found out about us, it wasn't like people got a chance to see us dating or see our, see how we came together. We didn't get caught out here, there, and everywhere and pictures of us and da-da-da and da-da-da. And we got married in COVID.
Yeah.
So, by the time the world found out about it, I was married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just popped out.
Well, I just love how you owned it because I think a lot of times, especially if no one has ever thought about, oh, am I fluid or am I bisexual? Or, sometimes entering that new framework, it can be nerve-wracking for people. But you, from the moment on, were like, love is love and I'm ready to show it. And I think that was so empowering to see.
We were in a grocery store and I broke down and cried like a baby. She's like, what's wrong with you? I said, I just want to hold your hand while we walk to the grocery store. But it would have exposed our relationship to something that when we were still trying to figure it out.
Yes.
We were like, can we, you know what I mean?
How are we going to deal with the fact that I'm a huge star and now everybody's going to be in our business? And again, you're not new to relationships and you know how that can impact it.
Yeah.
We know how that can, when everybody doesn't know how it feels for other people to say you're in that person's shadow. Even though that's not the reality.
No.
That's just what the world can sometimes do because they put entertainers on this pedestal and they act like we're the end all be all when we're not. That's not how my life exists. My family doesn't treat me like I'm Keke.
Yeah.
Your kids don't treat you like NIECY, you mama.
And that's it.
And so it can be a lot for a partner
to
step into. And so you're protecting them.
Honestly, with this Thundercat, that was my concern. Because she knows exactly who she is and is flat-footed in it. You know what I mean? So that wasn't what I was worried about. I wasn't worried about the public. Now you have people in your life who are like, oh Lord, you have to keep this in a dark corner. And I'm like, who? Honey, what Beyonce say? This love on top. Okay. This is too good. I wouldn't want to hide this light under a bushel. And I'm not finna live my life like that. I'm not gonna love nobody in the shadows. Baby, you're gonna get this thing right out loud. And people were like, oh, you didn't act like that when you was married before. And I'm like, no, I did. Just nobody cared. Now you in my business. You know what I mean?
You've always been really open with love.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't do anything to give you something to talk about. I do it because that's how I feel. That's what I'm committed to. And this is my bag.
I mean, how have you continuously been able to keep yourself open to love? I think about me and you, right on Rodeo. We're in, what is that place that had that good ass chicken sandwich? I wish I could say the name, remember the name. I forget the name of the spot, but it's right there on Rodeo Drive. We went there, we're eating and we're talking about love. And you said, I don't remember everything word for word, but you always talk about envisioning the love that you want. You were always encouraging me to just, because I've always been so career focused. And I think it was not always on my mind. I would always say, it'd be great to have a partner. I'm into the vibe. But it was always so secondary. And I remember you holding my hand and say, Keke, you have to stop talking like that.
Mm-hmm. And because I tell you this, I know what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Your do is not your who, little mama. I know exactly what I told you. What we do for a living, I do this. I do that. I am wearing all of these hats. But we were created to love and be loved and be of service. That's the primary. Them the top 3. The rest of this, all of this other shiny stuff we doing, great. But the greatest call on your life is to love, be loved, and be of service. And get in all the way into it.
But how do you know that your love and be loved isn't your family and your kids? How do you know that? And this is not just for me, but this is for anybody watching, right? How do you know that it's in the cards for you to have that romance that sweeps you off your feet? How do you know?
Keke, I'm gonna say something to you. Now you think about it, and you could pick any one of them. At that highest point of love, where you just look at them and your eyes be like, that's me right there. When you feel that thing, when they call you on the phone and your heart skip a beat, when that text come through, when you down and out, and that's just exactly what you needed, that's how you know. That's how you know.
And you know it's coming.
And I love my kids. I love them as the day is long, but that wasn't gonna be enough. Baby, I left their daddy. I put on the tightest spank I could find. I put grease on all their face and said, get in the car. They said, where we going? I said, to find you a new daddy. Mama got needs. Get in the car. Because I'm going to get it. You understand what I'm saying? And now, because I
really admired that.
I always have believed. Now, here's the thing about the Most High. There's always something you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And JB is my thing I did not see coming. How we feel about each other, how we express the love, how we love each other. I knew that wonderment, I knew that connective tissue was going to exist in my life. I didn't know it was going to be in that being. And let's talk about a label for a second. Because my daughter made me watch this whole thing. She's like, Mom, what are you? And I was like, what? She said, well, how do you identify? And I was like, what are you talking about? So we watched this whole program, and
Gen Z.
They walked through all the names of the thises and the that. Are you this? Are you that? And at the end of it, she was like, so what are you? And I said, black and your mama? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I tried to see,
you know what I mean?
Does that mean I like this type of person? This right?
Yeah.
And I really can't see anybody else. I literally, and so sometimes I lovingly or jokingly say I'm Jess sexual, Jess, because I don't really know, because I can't even take someone into my eye gate. You just don't do it for me. I'm not even looking at you going, oh, he's cute. Oh, she's cute. Oh, they're cute. I don't even see you cute with this Thundercat standing next to me.
I live for Thundercat. I live for the Thundercat of it all.
Of it all.
I love that. And I really do feel you, because at the end of the day, I love who loves me.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love who loves me, and that's who I love. And that's it on that.
Yeah, that's that on that.
That's beautiful. Now, I do want to say that, I know I have to leave soon, but I just want to say, because I live for this, and I always ask any couple this, you know, you talk about keeping the marriage spicy and playful.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Is it like date? Are you into the date nights? Are you guys taking trips? Like, what in your mind keeps the longevity of a relationship?
Well, first of all, you have to be intentional. Okay? You have to know that keeping the connective tissue is not an option. So even for people like in our industry, I might work a 12 or a 14-hour day and not pull up into that driveway till 10, 11, 12. It could even be later if you work a Friday, you know, like a Friday into a Saturday morning.
Yes.
But like, I was working with the gals, with the show that I'm doing now with Ryan, and they were like, everybody was ready to go home and so tired. I'm like, well, it's 10 o'clock. I got a date in 30 minutes. So I got to go, you know.
That's it.
And it was like at 10:30, I'm like, yes. So now I worked, all day, and I go home. And why my spouse did this, I have no idea. She put bubble bath or something in the jacuzzi. So we got martinis. It's bubbles everywhere. Luther Vandross is playing. I'm like, I love my life. I walked in the backyard taking my clothes off.
Okay.
You understand me? Let's get to it. So there's an intentional way of being. And that's not even like going outside spending money. That's just staying in the house and making sure you locked in.
Just do something special for me.
Yeah.
You know, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
And the trick to it all is making the person that you love feel like their experience with you is custom and not off the rack. That's just the way I am. It's the biggest lie ever been told. You don't give people what you want to show them how to love you. You give them what they require and trust that they will in turn do the same. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's love. Definitely trust.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, somebody.
Beautiful. It really is. I want to quickly touch on you reuniting with Cedric the Entertainer, and my girl Jennifer Lewis, who's also going to be on the show
Yes!
on Big Age.
Big Age.
Congratulations. I
Thank
mean, what
you.
brought you to this project?
All right, y'all. So we're gonna stop it right there and do our final commentary break. Before we go ahead and wrap it up, we're moving very close to the 2 hour mark, y'all. And you know, Imani, she has some things she got to do, and get up out of here, child. So we're gonna wrap it up. But yeah, I just wanted us to hear through that portion of her experience and her journey with the love of her life, which is Jessica Betts now. And this is a woman who has been in multiple relationships with men, has been in a few marriages that didn't work out. And one of the best loves that she says that she's having in her life right now just happens to be, and I believe it is it and correct me if I'm wrong, Iman, because I don't know. Jessica Betts, she is like she still identifies as female. She don't identify as male, do she? But she is a woman. I just want to make sure I get that right because that's
Yeah, yeah.
important.
She identifies as a female. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, got you. Yeah. But just listening to like, the story and how they made their connection and they met and where they've ended up now and how they love each other. I do think like, when we say that and that I didn't always go around with that mantra, right? Like that I got that from somebody else that I met, on the platform or whatnot, and that was their mantra or whatnot. That love is love. I believe that to be true. Like love is just love, and people can make their own decisions with what type of love it is they're looking for, or how they apply, that certain love in their life. But I thought her story and what she said as far as like how they met and how they kicked it off and where they are now, I thought it was really beautiful. What did you think about that portion, Imani?
Yeah, I thought yeah, it was interesting that yeah, she'd been in multiple relationships with men before she met Jessica, and she was reluctant. First and foremost, I think if I had seen my other half, if I'd seen him eating crabs at the beginning of our dating, no, it would have been a
Ah,
big hard. It would have been a hard no, right?
you talking about is
It would
not
have
a
been a
turn.
hard no. But it's really weird. But there are things that I can relate to that she said because when I met him, I do remember that feeling of, your heart skipping a beat and being really, really eager to see that person. And, having met him, after, breaking up with the father of my son. And there was one thing that I always tell this story to a few people, and I'll tell you guys today. I once dated before I met my BF, who is now been around for like 20 years. I once dated someone that was born on exactly the same day, uh, exactly the same month, exactly the same year as me. It's basically my twin. And the thing,
Oh, your twin, girl, not your
no,
twin.
do you know what? I thought when I met him that this must be the perfect match. My God, he was so annoying. But what I realized about the things about him that annoyed me were things that I wanted to change about myself. So it was like, going out with my mirror, things that I think, I've
Yeah.
got to do that. Oh, he was so annoying. And I was like, oh my God, is this like what it's like dating me? But I do remember, because I thought that would be the perfect match, but it's not always the same. I do know people who do go out with people who are born on exactly the same day as themselves and same time of year, and it has worked. But I do remember that. But I think the thing that she didn't want to spoil was their friendship, and and I can understand that because it would be it would be sad if she'd lost that friendship for an uncertain romantic relationship. But the good thing is, and I also concur with this, because when we first met, when me and my current partner first met, we kept our relationship secret because we didn't want to be subject to other people's scrutiny, like my friends, his family, my family. So for a long time we
Mm.
dated, but we didn't tell anybody we were dating. And even funnier than that is that he met me when I was, one of my legs was in plaster because I'd ruptured my Achilles tendon. So
Oh,
one of the
okay.
things that, yeah, so one of the things that I used to say to my friends was that I don't think I want to be intimate because one, I don't know anybody who's ever had their leg in plaster for a long time, because it was in plaster for a long time. If you've ever had a cast, a proper cast, mine was all the way up to my knee because it was so bad. Um, and I used to use a knitting needle because you get a lot of I mean, this is trigger warning, a lot of dead skin on your leg, as although they changed the cast, but you can't get it wet and all the rest of it. So what I used to say to my friends is, there is no way I'm gonna get sleep with this man, because the amount of dead skin that drops out of my plaster cast, he's going to think I'm some sort of reptile shedding skin. So my friends were just cracking up and saying, the things you think about, because seriously, that was what I thought about. That was the only thing I could think about. There's no way. So
Right.
yeah, but we got to know each other. And we got to know each other outside of scrutiny. So I can understand that by the time people knew we were dating, then we had already, got to know each other so well that we weren't afraid to be around other people or other people's scrutiny. And this is what they said. They were already married by the time their relationship became public. So, and she really does talk about finding love where she never expected to find it. One, it was an existing friendship and it wasn't planned, and she initially resisted her feelings because she was frightened of losing a friend. And it was like really about trusting herself. This was about trust, and trusting yourself and trusting someone else with your heart. And sometimes allowing life to take you somewhere where you never planned to be, because she didn't plan on being with a woman. So I think it's really interesting. And I thought the funniest part was when she said that her daughter made her watch whatever she made her watch, and asked her, "What are you?" And she says, "I'm black and I'm your mama." What do you mean? She was like, she didn't want to label herself, and she still doesn't label herself. And
Mhm.
I think that people are obsessed with labels. People are obsessed with labels, with what a friendship is. I've got a lot of friends, guys that I'm friends with that are platonic, and they're still my friends. They were my friends before I met my partner now, and they're still my friends to this day. So my friendship group is very, very mixed. And but even still, though I love them and I trust them, I think um when I met my current partner, I just didn't want anybody to influence my judgment, because I knew it was this person that I met was really different, and I felt differently about him. And I wasn't just going into something just to be with someone. I thought he was special when I met him, and I still think he's special now, 20 years on. So that's why I say, you can end up with someone and you know he's not like even my friends, when they met him, they said he's not like your typical type. And I said, what is my type? And I said, I don't really have a type. I said, I've just been with the wrong type. The
Right.
wrong type. for both of us, not because they were bad people, but we just weren't meant for each other. And I think that's the key thing, is to allow yourself, trust yourself to make your decisions, because a lot of the time we get advice from friends who are not in a space where they're happy for us, sometimes not intentionally, and you have to trust your own judgment when it comes to people, and also heal yourself from your old traumas. But she is so funny, though, the way she tells the story, and she also says that that we're here to love, be loved, and to serve others, and that's what we're here for. And I think that was a lot about what you were talking about, in your intro in the housekeeping, about love. It's, you've got love for your children that is different. And like she said, yeah, I used to love packing my son off and saying, oh, hey, go with daddy, because mama's got to find you a new daddy. No. But, so mama needs to find you a new daddy today. But no, but it's also, you've got to find time for yourself, and your own. It's important to make time for yourself, for your own romance, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there are many people that have what they call blended families, and it's a tricky road these days, and a lot of people are doing it online and not finding out a lot about people. I know a lot of people that have been dating, and all they do is text one another, and all they've done is text one another, and then you find someone is living with someone that the most time they've spent together, uh, they haven't spent that much time together, but they've been texting for about a year, and I just find that really weird. But I think her love story is great, and that she doesn't place herself in any particular category just to satisfy outsiders' expectations. She is who she is. She loves the person who loves her, and that is it, and that is all, and that's great. But yeah, no one defines it for her.
I agree. You know what I mean? And like I'm saying, like, okay, because YouTube is a weird place. And so, people will try to weaponize titles and things against people. And I think that that's the worst thing to do, because I feel like when you do that, you take away the beauty from what is really real within those dynamics of relationships, right? And so as we listen to this live, and we heard, NIECY Nash talking about her newfound relationship, it is meaningful and it is real, and it's where she and her partner is at. And so I think that's beauty, because there's love in it, there's trust in it, there's real genuine connection. And just to throw around titles, or weaponize titles on people just because you want to be angry or you have an issue with them, that takes away from the love and the genuinity that comes within real relationships that are set up that way. And so that's like listening to NIECY Nash speaking, and watching her over the years, because I watched her from the very beginning, from like Reno 911, and I watched the journey of her life, right? From when she stepped in, to the space for the first time of really finding this genuine love that she wanted to give a try, and that seems to really click and work well for her, and how happy she is. She's always been a happy-go-lucky person, but when she stepped into this relationship, she found what she was looking for in a partner, you know? And I think that's something to celebrate, not weaponize. You know what I mean? So that was the beautiful part of it for me. And just like she has done everything else in her life, she lives freely. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel like doing this today, or I feel like doing this tomorrow, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with what I'm feeling, my feelings. And when it comes to love, like I said, I really do believe, and like I said, I heard somebody else that we support, who made that key phrase to think, but love is definitely love. You know, it is on different levels. It doesn't always have to be, you know, romantic. It can be platonic. It can be spiritual. Love can come in all different shapes and forms, and how we feel as though to show up with love or express love or receive love. It's a journey that we all go through, and it can be different for all of us, but it can be very beautiful too. And so I thought that was really dope, you know, to hear her talk about that. I've heard her, you know, talk about that multiple times before in the interviews, but I wanted to bring that to, you know, the platform and the live today. So we could talk about it together, y'all, because we out here and we can talk about these things. We all are different. We all are very different. And for me, when it comes to us being different, I don't see that as a negative. I see that as a positive. I feel like our differences is what makes us unique, beautifully unique and creative. And those are things that, you know, I take, you know, love in, and I take, you know, appreciation in. I know I'm very different, y'all. I don't know. People maybe think I'm crazy. I don't know. But when I see the differences in all of us, it's something that I see more so as a beauty. Like it's unique. I don't think it's something that, you know, we should attack each other or be against, you know, one another about because we're different. Maybe we take more of the time to get to know one another a little bit deeper, a little bit better, you know? What do you think
Yeah.
about this, Iman?
Yeah, I think, I'm not, it's for me, I am never interested in labels. I think people focus too much on labels, you know, and who you love, and that is it, that is all. And no one should question that, why you love them, how you love them. It is your relationship that is important, and it's important that you've got have someone that you care for and that loves you back. And that is all I've ever said, even to some of the young people that I dealt with that had a difficult time with their families when they wanted to come out. You love who you love, you can't help who you love. And it's no one's business apart from you and whoever you're in a relationship with. People are so concerned with labels. Are they gay? Are they straight? Are they trans? I don't care. I just think it's lovely if people are happy with who they have. And if they're not, or if it's a bad relationship, that they can get out, and they have the support group that can help them through breakups if they have breakups. But people love who they love, and I don't care. I'm not concerned about other people's love lives. I only care about my own and what's going on in my life. And I also say to people that myself and C, my partner, we don't argue. The reason why we don't argue is that he never argues with me. He does a bit of a talk to the hand. I'm not doing this, you know and that works because you know uh I always come I'd always been out with people that were combative, not silent, not, very thoughtful. But he was a completely different person from, people I met. And I knew it as soon as I met him. And I knew, regardless of whether we had a lasting relationship, that he would be someone that would be in my life for a long time. I knew it as soon as I met him. I knew when we talked, when we spoke. People are just so concerned. I love seeing people that are happy in their relationships. When I see my friends and they're happy with who loves them and they love them back. And I think that's really important. you know love is great, and I've got a lot of friends, and I always say, my friends, I love my friends. My friends have always been there for me through thick and thin. I love my nieces, my nephews, my son, but I love them in different ways. And all of them bring me joy in different ways. And I think like you said, love is wonderful if you have it, if you have it. And I just pray that people do find love, a real love. And that's why I think, just people shouldn't. One thing that I always used to tell a lot of my friends, because they used to be concerned about whether their friends would like their whoever they were dating. And I said to them, they've always known me to be that way, that I don't care as long as I am happy, because I trust my own judgment. I mean, I don't get me wrong, whew, sometimes it's let me down. However, most of the time my instincts are right about the people that I've brought into my life. So I'm not bothered about what people think. People look at aesthetics, how people look. No, it's more than that. It's more than outward appearances. Don't get me wrong. You're not exactly going to go out with, you know, Dr. Frankenstein's monster, but and I say that, but it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What's good for me may not be good for you. I don't
Right.
care as long as I'm happy. And I think, and what I used to say to a lot of my friends, your friend should want you to be happy, regardless. If you're happy, then they should appreciate that and celebrate that. But you get a lot of, people that they think, oh no, he's hasn't got that job, or he doesn't do this for you, he doesn't do that for you. It's what you're happy with that's important. And as long as you're not forcing the happiness, I think that's really key. You must be happy with your choice.
One of the things that I have learned over the years or whatnot, and no, I'm not as mature, I guess, as I could be at being just 36, is that I think love and happiness are two separate things, right? Because you can find happiness in life, but there's no love attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in, you know, if you're talking about being in like a relationship, right? Like a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship. You don't have to be in a relationship to find happiness. And I think that those two things have honestly, unfortunately, in current day time, have been merged into one, right? A lot of people feel as though their happiness lies within having a relationship of some type or kind, whether it's platonic or romantic. And I think that I've been there, and that's not true. That's not true. Your happiness and your joy that you have in your life that you walk around with, you don't have to be in a relationship or have to have love or a partner or anything like that to feel and experience that type of love and joy. I think the biggest problem when it comes to relationships is that when people seek out to get into them, if they're real with themselves, that is their entire goal, right? When they get into relationships for happiness, for joy. I want to be in this relationship with this person because I want to feel happy and I want to feel joy. If you can't bring that into your life by yourself, right? And then you get into a relationship with someone, what that tends to lead to is that you're expecting that person to provide that happiness and that joy in your life for you by you just being connected to them. And a lot of times, I think in either, like I said, platonic or romantic relationships, when that doesn't happen, now there's a issue, and sometimes people can bump heads, or they feel like, or they could miss out actually on their soulmate or the love of their life because they were not really fully healed and prepared before going into a relationship, and they were expecting things out of it that really we have to be strong enough to provide and put in place for ourselves and not expect other people to do it for us. And so that's one of the things that I paid attention to. Like, hmm, there's a lot of like imbalance when it comes to relationship. Like, somebody expecting the other person to fill in the patches, holes that they carry and they have in their life, and that's not the real responsibility of being in a relationship. Now, I feel like if you are in a relationship and then you do, as a couple go through some things and you get a little scarred and you get a little banged up and stuff like that, then your partner is there, and because they love you, they'll help you, you know what I'm saying, navigate through that and patch you up. But it's people out here that are unpatched, they're unhealthy, and they're going into relationships looking for EMS services. Your relationship should not be EMS services. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I've also had, situations where I've met somebody and both of you, both me and that person have thought we're gonna date. And then you might go out on a few dates and then you do a sharp left and you're in the friendship zone. And me and those people are still friends to this day. And we laugh about the fact that, remember when we met and we thought we were going to date, and then we both knew that we really didn't feel romantic about it. But some of the people that I met that I thought I was going to date are my best male friends to this day. And, and I've introduced some of them to their current wives, girlfriends. But it was funny that and we started, and their wives and girlfriends do know that that's how we met, because it just never happened. Not even, not even intimacy happened. It's just like we just knew when we met after a few, maybe dates, that we didn't feel that way about one another. And I've got, and then I've just got male friends that, that's never been the case. We've never even dated. But I think it's, you've got to be able to have different types of relationships, I think, with men and women, to be able to understand the dynamics. Because my EF, he has female friends, male friends, some, he's no longer than me, and I do not feel any insecurity around them, just the same as he doesn't feel any insecurity around my friends, be they male or female, because we are
Right.
secure in our relationship. And whatever traumas that may have caused jealousy and other things that happened to us were worked out well before we met one another. And I think that's why we have a healthy relationship, because we didn't bring our baggage with us. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely a conversation for another day, and I don't want to keep the people too long, but this was a great interview. Please go and
We don't
support
want to keep
Keke
it for too
Palmer's
long.
platform.
Do y'all
Sorry.
want to have relationship conversations with Imani and Golden? Y'all let us know, y'all. So we gonna get deep down into it. We gonna tell you the raw facts and the truth. And it's gonna be a lot of things that people are not really discussing, because when we talking about real love, relationships, connectivity, things of that nature, that's a serious conversation to have. It's not for clicks, it's not for views, it's not for a performative. Because people are really out here trying to find love, they're trying to find their person, and you want to do that in the most healthily way as possible. And I just feel like it's something that shouldn't be played with. It shouldn't be like a joke. It shouldn't be, them old school shows, child, they used to have back in the day, them dating shows, those was a joke to me. I'm like, you could possibly hit it off by connecting with somebody that's a panelist or whatnot on the show, but come on, it takes a lot of deeper thought and understanding and maturity or whatnot if you really want to have a healthy relationship and healthy relationship outcomes. And so I agree exactly with everything you were saying, Imani. Especially when it comes to the nuance between male and female, man and woman, and the different types of relationships that you can have. They can be platonic, they can be romantic, they can be spiritual. There's different ways that you connect with people. And I think that, and I'm going to tell you this in just a minute. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I had to turn the microwave off. But anyway, one of the biggest things that I feel as though, is a major problem when it comes to where we're at right now, like in relationships in the dating space. which, I'm not going to get too far into it. We'll save this for maybe another live, that we can talk about fully at that time or whatnot. Because I don't want to take y'all too far out. And I know Imani got to go. But just a little tidbit right here, but quick. It's just like, a lot of people are expecting definitely way too much out of relationships that they should not be expecting because they're not doing their own self work and they're not, getting themselves together on their own, which is their responsibility. Is not the responsibility of the partner or the person that you find. And that can just deal with emotions, feelings, and things of that nature. But then also we see there's a lot of people that are heavily weighing in and benefiting off of the person that they find to date because of the monetary value that that person brings to the table. So that's also something that they're not being able to do for themselves, that they're looking to date and be in relationships or connect with other people for money and stability and lifestyle and things of that nature. Um, and then there's also, people that are getting into relationships that know that, they have a lot of problematic, things about themselves that they are not healthily working on, right? Before going out and dating someone else or meeting someone else. They're a bit broken inside. They're a bit toxic. They are probably walking around with scars and wounds and traumas and things that they are not properly dealing with on their own. And then wanting to get into relationships and thinking that the relationship is going to be the end all be all and going to solve all of that. The same person you walk into that relationship as is going to be the same person that you're in that relationship as. And depending on the other partner that you have when you're in that relationship, that either works with them or it doesn't. And what we see a lot of the time is people are getting into relationships with equally broken people, equally damaged people, right? So when you get into it, you feel as though, oh, this is going real well. This person understands me. They get me. Why do they understand you and they get you? Because you're coming into the relationship broken and torn apart, toxic and terrible, and they equally are coming into the relationship the same way. And this is what somebody else's mantra is. Okay, I'm not stealing any from anybody, but the truth is the truth. A lot of relationships these days are people that are trauma bonding. And a lot of relationships are starting off of trauma bonding. They also are starting off of, people getting into relationships before they want to see what they can get out of it, right? Monetary value of relationships. And that's not truthfully where, for me, that's just my opinion. Other people may disagree with me, but I would ask people, if you disagree with me with that, if you've been in that said relationship on those different types of accounts, has that worked out well for you or has that worked out bad for you? Are you getting into a relationship based off of what you can get out of the other person, which is typically things that you cannot provide for yourself? Or are you getting into a relationship with somebody that is equally as broken, traumatized, and hurt that you are? And then now you're like, oh, this is my person, because y'all both are broken and hurt and traumatized, but you have not been doing the self work on one another. But yet that person is meeting you where you at. There's nothing wrong with somebody meeting you where you at. But how long do you think that that relationship can flourish if no healing comes into the picture and starts to happen, right? Like, you have to heal. That person has to heal. You have to get to a level where you're the best version of yourself. And guess what? Some people do that. And you want to know what the funniest thing is? If two entities do that, right, that have connected on a trauma bond, most of the time they're not going to be together after the healing is done, because they didn't get together in a healthy space. They got together in a broken space, needing to piece in the pieces for one another. I got this piece over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, that's missing. You got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that's missing. I fill in those pieces for you. You fill in those pieces for me. While we're together, the pieces are filled in. If we separate, now we back with missing pieces, you know? So it's the responsibility of us to make sure our pieces is filled in before we go into relationships with people. You know what I mean? and expect them to fill in the pieces for us. But let's go ahead and wrap this up, y'all. Imani, go ahead and give some of your final thoughts so I can get you up out of here, girl. And we'll be back. Maybe we can do a live, on a topic like this if the people like it. Let me know. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think you probably need to have, a kind of relationship type conversation, because I think it's interesting, and to have men and women available to talk about it. Um, because there's a lot of discussion about, who we are in relationships versus who we are outside of relationships. But just to wrap up with this, one of the biggest messages I found in this interview is what Nisi kept saying again and again is, don't allow other people to tell you who you are. She talked about an industry that tried to put her in a box. She was funny, so people only saw her as a comedian. But she knew there was more. There was more. She had more to give. And eventually the world got to see her as a dramatic actress. And she's an Emmy winning performer. And she's what people now call Niecy the Range Nash. And also, I love the advice her mother gave her, which was, don't let people tell you who you are. Tell them who you are. And that was bigger than, advice that any Hollywood director could give her. But people will always try and define you as the version of you when they first met you. They'll define you by your mistakes, your circumstances, your job, your relationships, and even their expectations of you. But growth means you're not supposed to be the same person forever. And that's why when she said that someone said to her that you've changed, the powerful response she gave was essentially, maybe the problem is that you haven't. We should always be growing, we should always be learning, and the people who genuinely love us should want to see us become better, not demand that we remain the same person or the old version of us that made them comfortable. And then obviously there was a lot in this interview about love, and she found love in a place she wasn't expecting. Jessica had been a friend, and she was initially afraid to risk that friendship. She decided if she was going to love, she wasn't going to spend her life hiding that love simply because someone else might have an opinion about it. And I love the fact she doesn't agree in labels. And, whether we talk about romantic relationships, family, or friendships, the wider lesson of this is people should love intentionally. Learn the people that you came to love. Don't just give them what you would want. Understand what makes them feel valued, supported, respected, and appreciated. She says, the most meaningful thing you can give somebody isn't expensive. It's simply showing them that you know them, you listen to them, you see them, and you love them. And you want them to feel special. And remember, the other thing she was talking about is the fact that your job isn't your identity, your title isn't your identity, your platform isn't your identity, your money isn't your identity, your followers aren't your identity. These things can disappear tomorrow. And who are you when nobody's around? How do you treat people when no one's watching? She's helped people without making a song and dance about it. She helped people like Jennifer Lewis after her accident. She doesn't talk about that, but she did help her. And you know the thing is, all of us still need nurturing, and that goes beyond marriage. Friendships need nurturing, families need nurturing, communities need nurturing. And if we genuinely want unity, unity needs nurturing too. So my final takeaway from this is know who you are, allow yourself to grow. Don't let other people put you in a box. Love people intentionally, serve always without needing recognition, and never become so consumed by what you do that you forget who you are. Her journey shows us that life can really surprise you and opportunities that you never expected can come your way. So stay loving one another, stay caring for one another, keep growing, keep loving, keep learning, keep listening, and take care of people around you, your family, your friends, and give yourself permission to become the person that you're still becoming, because changing doesn't always mean that you've lost yourself. And my last words are, don't give a shit what anybody else says about you. Do you, bet on yourself, be you, because only you know what you can become and what you want to be and what your purpose is. Nobody else. And that's it for me. Stay blessed. Remember, we're too blessed, way too blessed to be stressed. Love you, and I see you next time on the next live.
Thank you, Imani. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for leaving that final message and word with us all. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And I know, girl, it's later there for you, so you got to go ahead and go. But I do have a few things that I'll just leave us for some final thoughts. We'll end it with some bops, per usual, and we will get y'all up out of here. But for this part two, right, with NIECY Nash sitting down with Keke Palmer and talking about her journey, it reminds us about love, especially right there at the end. The most transformative love stories often begin the exact moment you stop forcing yourself into traditional boxes and simply choose to honor the soul that is standing in front of you. Love in its highest form isn't performative, complicated, or reserved for a specific blueprint. It is built in the quiet, intentional spaces, taking time to restore yourself after a long day, actively listening to what the people around you truly need, and customly loving individuals exactly for who they are rather than who you wish they were. Standardized paths don't fit every human spirit, and they aren't meant to. We don't need to walk in someone else's shoes to treat their journey with fundamental humanity, dignity, grace, and respect. Never settle for being tolerated where you were created to be celebrated. Never fear the unexpected paths your heart takes when your intentions are rooted in honor, integrity, and self respect. True connection always begins with how deeply you value yourself, because you cannot offer a depth of love to others that you refuse to give to your own reflection. Protect your peace, move through this world with radical intention, and never hesitate to love out loud on purpose. Stand firm, move with grace, and keep your crown held high. Thank you all so much for joining us on the rest of this live. This is our part two, and we are done here. I hope you guys enjoyed the part one. If you haven't watched it, please go back and check it out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the part two that we covered here today. We thank each and every one of you for coming in to spend time out of your day with us to listen to what we had to talk about. And hopefully, maybe there's something positive we all can take from it. And you enjoyed it. You enjoyed your time here with us. So we appreciate that so much. I hope everybody has a beautiful and wonderful rest of the day, no matter what time zone you're in, whether it could be slightly towards the morning, afternoon, evening, or night for you. I hope it is a great rest of your day. We're going to go ahead and leave y'all with a few boppity bop bop bops and get on up out here, y'all. But we'll see you around the YouTube streets. So thank y'all so much for everybody who came in. And yeah, this is Golden and Imani. We out. Bye.
Feeling like got people forgetting folks are you. That part. Every laugh ain't harmless. Every post ain't just jokes. Some people smiling online, crying in real life. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Why you tearing people down for fun? Why? You don't know what they carry when the camera done. Broken souls throw stones and hide their hands. Cowards in comment sections playing God again. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss. And healing's still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Yeah. YouTube streets messy, everybody got a target. Creators throwing dirt like hate became a market. Mocking people daily, that spirit look haunted. Tell me who raised y'all, this behavior garbage. Laughing at depression, exposing folks' trauma. Then act shocked when tragedy follow behind you. The evil energy, boomerang proper. Come on, pull up silent like a midnight robber. And honestly, do you watch my live? I talk truth, pain, growth, tears, real vibes. Not everybody built for the games online. Some folks want insult from losing their mind. That's fake, no cap. Y'all did the humiliation. Every live stream feel like public execution. Views over souls, cloud over humans. Then wonder why the whole world mentally ruined. Somebody mama crying at night. Somebody daughter hurt inside. Somebody praying not to give up while bullets screenshot painful light. Shame on you, shame. You need healing too. Only damaged people wake up daily, trying to damage others too. Enough is enough. Why you tearing people down for fun? Tearing them down. You don't know what they fighting when the live stream done. Enough. Keyboard killers acting tough online. Whole time spiritually broken inside. Karma don't miss, no. Karma don't skip souls either. Every hateful seed gon' meet the reaper. So to the hurt and bully people, listen close. You matter more than these demons online. These chicks bitter, these dudes weird. Obsessed every day, like why you still here? Refreshing my page while pretending you don't care. Whole personality built off hate and fear. Talk slick online, real life timid. Broken inside, everybody can't feel it. Projecting their wounds while the comments all cheering. That ain't straight, baby, that sickness concealed. And I said what I said. Yeah, some of these creators need therapy bad. Not another live stream drag. Not another fake outrage cash grab scam. Y'all bully for a living, that's sad. Spirit look bankrupt, dusty and mad. And the people encouraging it just is trash. Laugh now, karma got a long memory past. Because words cut deep, so deep. And some people never recover. To everybody bullied online, you are not weak because you hurt. You are not crazy because you feel pain. And don't let these empty souls convince you your life got no value. The loudest bullies usually fighting demons they never healed from. That ain't an excuse, but it's the truth. And to the bullies, get help, seriously. This obsession with tearing strangers apart every day, that ain't normal. Enough is enough. We need love more than ever now. Too many souls out here barely hanging on somehow. No more glorifying painful views. No more clowning her forever new. No more mob attacks for entertainment. That darkness got consequences too. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss. And healing's still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Everybody got a version of me. But this is my truth. Everybody got opinions, never ask me who I am. Read one page, close the book, now they think they understand. They call my kindness weakness, my forgiveness being blind. But I just refuse to let this cold world see my shine. I've been stabbed in the back, still I lead with love. Lost a lot of people, still I look above. I smile through the pressure, I survive the rain. Turn my tears into diamonds, turn my losses into gain. Don't mistake my silence for not seeing. Peep every vibe, every switch, every reason. Real power knows when to leave without making a scene. I'm misunderstood, it's alright. God's still writing every line. I'm more than labels, more than pain, more than every rumor attached to my name. If you really wanna know me, walk beside me, not behind me, not around me. Yeah, I'm multifaceted, diamonds got more than one side. Some days I'm the storm, some days I'm the sunrise. I make my own choices, I stand on my own feet. Can't nobody live my purpose or rewrite my dreams. God gave me free will, I'm gonna use mine. If I stumble, I get up every single time. I answer to my conscience in heaven above. Not strangers who mistake my beat for giving up. I won't scream to fit your comfort, I won't dim. To feed your ego with freedom looks different. Then let me be different. Still I'm standing, still believing, still becoming. Maybe if we listen before we judge, we discover we all carry invisible scars. So before you decide who somebody is, learn what they survived. This song is for every soul who's ever felt misunderstood. Misunderstood.
It's a collective thing, you know. Yeah, high freaks. We just rising. Watch the elevation.
To look for God in the clouds, and my head down. Now I see the kingdom in the people, it's a spread now. Love is a currency, we don't need a gold crown. We lifting everybody up, we don't let a soul drown. It's that eternal glow, yeah, that spiritual fastest. Turning all our trials into heavenly answers. We moving past the labels and the religious brackets. When love is the language, we don't need a tactic. Love is love, it's the way that we climb. Leaving all the soul intervention, living in the higher, holy dimension. collective, we finding the frequency. A brotherhood rising with spirit decency. No more division, we killing the vacancy. Filling the void with a holy complacency. From the concrete roof to the celestial heights, we shining together like cityscapes. Life is a long road home, but the vision is clear. Love is the only thing conquering fear.
Elevation isn't just about going up. It's about bringing everyone with you. One soul, one heart, one vision. One vision mission. Love is love. It's the way that we climb. Leaving all the heavy, bitter pieces behind. An ascension, a soul intervention. Living in a higher, holy dimension. Collective energy, no one left behind. That's the elevation. Ascension.
They don't know her like I do. Nah. She moved through the city with her hair held high. Pretty brown skin with a storm inside. Everybody see the glow, they don't know the pressure. Smile so warm, but her heart no weather. Late nights riding while the skyline blur. Trying not to cry when the memories occurred. Had to learn fast, everybody ain't loyal. Some people love you long as they control you. Now she move careful, energy expensive. Too many fake vibes hiding in the friendship. Used to give love with her hands wide open. Now every scar got the whole vibe frozen. They don't know her like I. No, they don't know her like I. She goes by golden. Soft voice, deep soul, hope or glowing. She goes by golden. City lights dancing with her heart stay open. Long dark roads, but she still stay focused. Everybody watching, but they don't really know her. By golden. Too much grace for the games they throwing. Real love, rare, so spirits they got it. Beautiful soul, but the pain left marks in it. Mirror tell the truth when the lights go dim. All the things she carry weight heavy within. She survived nights she don't even speak on. Still finding peace while the whole world ain't wrong. Funny how the love disappear when you're healing. Funny how the fate come around when you win. Now she trusts God more than people intend. Just cause smiles hot and being hidden in the big. She's still soft-hearted but she way less naive. Can't keep pouring love but there's nothing received. Still dancing slow through the hurt and confusion. Trying not to lose herself chasing illusions. She survived the fire. Still glowing through this room. Still sad. Still dangerous. Still chosen. She goes back golden. Snow so deep made the whole room notice. Heavy lies couldn't break what was chosen. Still standing tall while the whole world folding. She goes back golden. Heartbreak turned to pens in the matter. Now the tears got rhythm when she's singing. And they still don't know her like that. They still don't know her like that. Spend too much time looking for love in strangers. Spend too much time. Spend too much time letting outside voices shake the mirror. But at the end of the night, when the lights fade, when the city cried, when the tears dried, we still got